I've received so many questions.
人们接收到很多问题。
I don't think we will have time to answer all, but maybe few. So let's begin with a few questions today.
那我们没有办法完全回答，可是可以回答一些。那我们今天就先从几个问题开始吧。
仁波切，请问一下，我看到你在吃槟榔，请问佛教徒可以吃槟榔吗？
I saw you eating 槟榔. Can Buddhists eat 槟榔?
This is actually a very, very important question.
这是一个非常重要的问题。
This is, I think, what I was talking yesterday. Buddhism, well, basically, this is something to do with Buddhism being hijacked by culture. Oh, there's a Pinnang. Okay.
这就是昨天仁波切在说的，这就是在谈到说佛教被文化所劫持。
This is inevitable, though. Because it's a bit like Buddhism needs to use a lot of methods.
不过这个是不可避免的。佛教需要用很多方法。
And the methods are always related to culture.
可是方法总是跟文化相关。
The wisdom of the Buddhism has got nothing to do with the culture.
佛教的智慧跟文化是完全没关系的。
So, for instance, like a scientist who is very experienced about science of gravity.
那比如说，举个例来讲，如果一个科学家他对地心引力很有研究的话，
let's say the scientist has a baby, maybe a 1-year-old baby.
假设他有一个1岁的小孩，
and the baby is about to fall from a cliff.
那个小孩快要从一个悬崖掉下去了。
What is this scientist going to do? Talk about gravity? You know the truth about gravity to a baby?
那这个科学家会做什么呢？是跟这个小孩谈这个地心引力的理论吗？
Much better to, I don't know, show what do you call it? Those bears? What do you call it? Teddy bear, stuffed teddy bear.
比较好的方法是给他用这个熊熊的这个玩具来引诱他，
and make all kinds of non-scientific noise.
然后做一些不是科学的噪音来吸引他。
Because the immediate necessity is to save the baby from falling.
最急迫的这个事情是要让那个小 baby 不要掉下去。
When the baby finish high school, then the scientist's father can teach about the gravity.
那可是等到这个小孩呢这个中学毕业以后呢，爸爸可能可以就跟他讲这个解释这个重力的问题。
So this is what we were talking yesterday about me. You know, I was talking about how we have to be careful. Like many people think being Buddhist means something to do with being a good human or a good person.
这昨天我们谈到的，就是很多人认为作为一个佛教徒，就在某个程度上要做一个好人。
And a good person is very, very relative.
可是好人是一个非常相对的一个事情。
Different society has a different meaning of good human being, good person.
不一样的社会有不一样的这个对好人的定义。
And individually also, the definition of a good person changes.
而且从个人的角度来讲，这个好人的定义也会改变。
So, I think a Buddhist should not eat pinang is a bit like stuffed teddy bear.
那所以仁波切认为呢，所谓的佛教徒不应该吃槟榔这件事情，就好像那个熊熊玩具一样。
For some it works.
对某些人呢，这是有效的。
Obviously, for others it doesn't work.
显然呢，对一些其他人呢没有效。
Okay, the next question.
下一个问题。
Hi, Rinpoche. Because we've been talking about normality, and you've mentioned yesterday there's no such thing as normality, I was wondering what is a normal day in your life as a Rinpoche? 就是因为这一次的主题是回归正常，但是因为昨天有说到，其实没有所谓的正常。那想请您跟我们说一下，身为一位仁波切，您平常的一天是怎么过的？
Morality, right? Morality?
Normality.
Normal, okay.
But her question is, how do you spend your day?
Okay. I think with using this question, I will begin. I will begin with today's whatever.
就以这个问题呢，仁波切今天开始今天的这个开始。
It's an appropriate question because here you are asked to. I'm supposed to. The whole course is about returning to normalcy.
那因为这个是很恰当的问题，因为整个题目就是说回归正常。
And you are hearing this from me.
然后你是从仁波切这里听的一个说法。
Somewhat abnormal person.
他是某个程度上是一个不正常的人。
Well, as I said yesterday, I was sold, so that's not so normal, is it?
那就像昨天讲的，他是被卖掉的，所以这第一个已经不太正常。
And probably many of you are a little jaded, but so you don't really you don't relate to me with enough curiosity, so to speak.
仁波切说，因为在座诸位可能很多人都跟仁波切太熟了，所以有一点已经没有感觉了那样子，所以他很多人对仁波切没有足够的这个好奇心。
And also, I think the whole thing about the reincarnation, the tulkus, lamas, is a bit too abstract and obscure. It sort of is very much within some Himalayan culture.
那另外一个是对于这种突苦或者转世这种东西，好像对大家来讲是非常抽象而且奇怪的这种事情，好像是属于这个喜马拉雅那一带的文化的现象而已。
This is what I was saying yesterday. It's a bit like, if you have been told that this afternoon you are listening to, I don't know, a reincarnation of Elvis Presley, you will have a very strong curiosity, don't you think?
如果诸位人家跟你说，你今天下午听的演讲的讲者是这个猫王的转世的话，那你一定会感到很多好奇心会出来。
But anyway, yes, in many respects, my upbringing is maybe not that normal.
反正总而言之，仁波切的成长的过程呢，并不是那么所谓的正常的。
And you can really say, what do you know about normalcy?
你也可以
You can ask, you can challenge me with this.
你也可以跟仁波切挑战说，你懂什么正常呢？
And yes, I will have to agree with you. Many of people like me, people like myself, probably we don't really know about the normalcy, the normalcy, as in the mundane world.
仁波切会同意这个挑战，因为他说，跟很多跟他一样的这种身份的人，对于这种世俗生活、一般生活的正常是不太了解的。
Of course, here, please make note, I'm not claiming that I'm so special in that kind of context of not normal, special as in really good and sublime.
仁波切要请大家，当然也要特别注意，他在这里说的不是说自己是有多么这个特别，特别的意思是多么高尚，或者是这个非常特别。
I'm somebody who, from a very young time, look upon by different people with a different attitude.
他是一个人呢，是从小就被很多人用不一样的态度来非常尊敬他，这样来对待他。
And at times, it has put me into a very awkward situation.
在某些时候会让他感到非常尴尬。
When I first went to Sichuan,
第一次仁波切到四川的时候，
this old man came to see me.
有一个老人来见他，
And then I asked him, "Who are you?"
仁波切问他说：“你是谁？”
He said, "Don't you know me? You gave me my name."
那老人说：“你不记得我了，我的名字是你给的。”
He has a total sort of belief, if you like, just acceptance, because his name was given by supposedly my previous incarnation.
那他是有完全的信念、相信或者是接受，说面前的这位仁波切就是以前给他这个名字的仁波切说所谓的他的前世。
At other time, I was traveling there for some time.
仁波切在那里旅行了一阵子。
In those days, that part was really remote, so we had to travel by horse, riding horse.
在那个年头，在那里旅行是很难的，所以要骑马。
And I hate riding horse because there's no seat belt and everything. You understand? I just don't like also.
仁波切不喜欢骑马，因为也没有安全带啊，什么这些东西。
And this guy who helps me to ride and hold me, and sometimes you ride horse on a cliff. It's very scary.
有一个人呢，就牵着仁波切的马呢，在控制那匹马，因为马有时候会走到很悬崖的边缘，很可怕的。
So I gave him towards the end of my trip, since we are coming closer to the motor road, I gave him my watch as gift because he was really helping me.
最后终于快要走到这个大马路的时候，这个旅程差不多快结束，仁波切就把他的手表送给他，因为他照顾仁波切很多。
I don't remember what watch, but it was sort of quite a good brand.
忘了是什么牌子，不过还不错的一个牌子。
So I gave him saying, you should wear this. This is a good brand.
仁波切就跟他说：“你应该戴这个表，因为它是一个好牌子的表。”
After a few days, when he's not wearing it.
过了几天，仁波切看到他并没有戴着。
Then I asked him, I gave you a watch. Why are you not wearing it?
仁波切说：“我给你一个表，你为什么不戴呢？”
Oh, he said, no, I'm wearing it.
他说：“没有啊，我戴着。”
So he took off his locket.
打开他那个所谓的嘎乌的那个盒子。
And locket is much smaller than the watch,
可是那个东西比表小。
So he opened the locket, and by then he already crushed the watch.
打开来一看才知道呢，他把表弄碎了放在里面。
And he has in his locket what appears to be sort of the main engine.
那所以在那个里面呢，有这个表的这个主要的动力的这个零件。
The wrist is sort of the strap, and all the other parts he cut it and he gave it to his family members.
表带啊，所有其他比较附属的东西，他把它剪一剪呢，送给他其他的家人亲友。
And he was a little bit embarrassed, and he was confessing, saying that I kept the best part, the engine.
他有一点不好意思，跟仁波切说：“我把最好的部分留给自己了。”
So the reason why I'm telling you this is I am somebody who also is looked upon by a lot of people like this. So the normalcy is a different kind of normalcy.
仁波切要说的是说，他被很多像刚刚这一类的不同的各种人呢，非常敬重，可以这样讲。所以所谓的这个正常性呢，是有一种不同的正常性。
I was telling yesterday, for one normalcy for one person is a chaos for another.
昨天也谈到说，对一个人的正常呢，对另外一个人可能是混乱。
I think I sometimes consider I'm not too corrupted.
那仁波切也说，有时候他觉得他自己并不是太腐败，是吧？
I think I have quite a good opportunity because this is a kind of there's a lot of chance to sort of hoodwink or swindle or cheat people with this kind of thing going on.
仁波切说，以他的这个生活跟他的这个地位吧，是有很多机会可以做一些不好的事情啊，欺骗啊什么等等的。
This is also because of conditioning.
那这也是由于制约的关系。
The conditioning of my teachers, a lot of teachers, very, very strict ones.
从他的很多上师来的这个制约，有的非常严格的。
Some of them relentlessly scolding me, "Who do you think you are?"
那有一些上师呢，不断的这样子斥责他说：“你以为你是谁呀？”这样子。
Don't you dare smear the name of the great being and the lineage.
你不可以这个警告他说，你不可以胆敢去毁坏你的传承跟你的这个上师的名字。
For instance, Japji Tingku Chenze Rinpoche.
比如说像顶果亲子仁波切。
He said, my most important advice for you is that you should pray to Chenze Chogi Lodo.
那顶果亲子仁波切跟他说：“我给你最重要的忠告，就是你要向 讲扬群者丘吉罗佐来祈请。
who is supposedly previous incarnation, by the way, for those who are new to this.
那诸位第一次来的人，就是讲的这个人，就是仁波切的所谓的上一世。
To live up to his name, to really carry on his vision, so on and so forth.
能够不辜负他的这个名声，能够持续他的工作。他的工作。
It's not always very rosy, by the way. You know, I was telling you earlier, all the, you know, the watch and all. Not most of the time is not rosy and very, you know, favorable. If you think this is favorable, it's not always like this.
人们现在说，这整个过程的成长的过程的经验，并不完全都是非常美妙的，并不是都是很好的。
Because when you have this kind of title, this kind of position, you also become a subject of scrutiny.
因为你有这种名号，你有这种地位，那同时你也会变成很多人在这个想要批判或者是检视的对象。
1,000 eyes watching you all the time. What do you do?
随时都有1000只眼睛在看你在干嘛。
And if you do good, they say, "Of course, you are supposedly that."
如果你做得好，他说当然了，你本来就应该这样。
And even if you do a little bit not good, they say, "What happened to you? Aren't you supposed to be that?"
那如果你只做了一点点不好的东西，他会说怎么回事啊？你不是应该是某某人吗？
I'm trying to answer this question because normalcy for someone like me is definitely different.
人们现在回答这个问题是说，所谓的正常对像他这样的人呢是不同的。
But as I said earlier, there is definitely people in my position. There is a definitely lack of understanding the normalcy of others.
可是人们就要说，像他这样子的人，跟他差不多一样的地位的人，对于一般人的正常呢，也是缺乏了解的。
And this is probably one of the biggest weakness of the Tibetan Buddhist teachers.
那也许这就是西藏藏传佛教老师们的最大的弱点。
This doesn't mean that they are having such a good time all the time. It's a very, very tough job.
并不是说他们都过着非常好的这个生活，这对他们来讲，这个也是一个非常艰难的工作。
It's very boring. It's very lonely. It's very taxing. It's very and there's a lot of you have to always be careful. Always be careful.
这是一个非常无聊、非常寂寞，而且常常要非常小心的一个工作。
You are supposed, I mean, again, it depends now how confident one is.
当然，再度的，这个是要看你有多大的信心。
And how much one bowed down to social expectation.
那要看一个人有对于这个社会的期待有多屈从这个社会的期待。
How much agenda you have.
你有多少这个
It really
自己想要达成的这个目标？
It really depends on what kind, what is it that you want to gain.
这是完全看你想要获得什么。
Well, depending on that, who you take photograph with, should one smile or not, all of this creates phenomena.
根据这些呢，那你跟谁要不要照相啊？ 你要不要微笑啊？所有这些都会制造出一些现象出来。
Okay, so normalcy. What does it really mean? Let us now discuss this.
那我们现在来讨论一下所谓的正常性到底真正的是什么？
I think the normalcy has a sense of regularity, sort of something regular.
那正常性大概有一个意义是一种规矩。
And then there's something to do with the commonly accepted.
那还有跟这个一般人都接受的有关系。
I think that too, and okay, maybe you can also interpret the normalcy with the connotation of typical day.
或者是你可以解释成为一个典型的，比如说一个典型或标准的一天这样子。
You can even say, oh, it's kind of normal to have a little bit of earthquake in Taipei. Like it's sort of normal.
那你也
Is
可以
it? Right.
你也可以这么说哦，在台北有地震，这是很正常的。你也可以这样用这个字。
It's a very typical of, having a grey sky in London or something like this.
或者非常典型的，在伦敦是有灰暗的这种天空。
So from this point of view, what are we talking about when we talk about normal human life?
从这个角度来看，我们在谈正常的人类的生活是什么意思？
I think this is the big question, isn't it? This is really.
这个是一个重大的问题，不是吗？
I was talking to some kids, teenagers.
而且曾经跟一些10几岁的小孩讲话。
Yeah, of course, many teenagers, I think, in their mind, having finishing their school, graduating from a good school, and then getting a job. These are normal, but that's what they think. But as I said yesterday, these are how they have been taught. They have been conditioned to think this.
那对他们来讲呢，从一个学校毕业，一个好的学校毕业，得到一个工作，对他们来讲，这好像是他们的正常的生活。可是像昨天说的一样，这是他们被教育成这样子的想法。
Just giving you some example.
我就给一些例子。
The example I just give you, like, okay, finish the school, getting a job. That's sort of commonly agreed normalcy.
念完书，找到一个工作，这是一个一般都接受的一种正常。
Which is very dangerous, so dangerous.
这是一个非常危险的事情。
And then commonly agreed is a father must love their children. Mother must love their children. That's normal. That's normal. This is also very dangerous.
那这种一般同意的、一般都接受的这种观念，比如说像父亲应该爱他的小孩，母亲应该爱他的小孩，这当然都是正常的、一般接受的。可是这个也是很危险的。
And I was talking to a teenage girl. She's always talking about finding a partner, a boyfriend, I guess, who will understand her. Wow, that is just. But of course, I didn't reply to her like, wow. I said, really? Okay, that sounds good. I understand this. This is how I have to say. This is the normal way of reacting.
仁波切在听一个10几岁的女孩在跟他说，她很想找到一个伴侣，那大概是一个男朋友的意思。那这个伴侣呢，可以了解她。那仁波切说：“这个是吗？真的是这样子吗？”他当然没有直接跟他讲，这个是很危险的。
I can't be talking to a 15-year-old girl when she said, she really wished to have somebody who really understand her. Now, I can't sort of reply to her as a Buddhist philosopher saying, oh, understand you, but you keep on changing morning, night, day, how do I catch up? How do somebody catch up? How you can't say these things.
对一个10几岁的女孩，人们就不能说站在一个佛教哲学的立场说了解你，那到底是了解什么呢？因为你一天到晚在改变，早上、中午、下午、晚上都在变来变去，那到底要了解哪一部分？他不能这样跟他讲。
Until recently, I thought this dilemma of thinking that family, father, mother, guarantee. It's a normal that they love their children. Until recently, I thought, because now in the modern day, we have problems we have problems of, we have this really serious problems of children really feeling alienated, not loved, not cared, not understood by their family. And then, many parents are also very stressed and they have their reason not to behave as expected.
谈到这个父亲、母亲、家庭都应该爱小孩这件事情，而且说直到最近，他认为这个现代社会里面，事实上这个看法是有问题的，因为有很多小孩，感觉到跟家庭、跟父母亲是疏离的，没有受到爱，没有受到关怀，也不被父母理解。那作为父母的压力也很大，所以他们也没有办法达成说一般认为父母亲应该做的这种事情。
I'm sorry, I'm jumping, but yesterday I talked about just watch this moment for 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Please, you must do this. Those, even maybe you are a 15-year-old boy or a girl who's looking for this perfect person, at that time do this. I think this will help a lot.
仁波切说很抱歉他跳来跳去，不过他还是要回来讲到昨天跟大家讲的这个花10秒钟、20秒钟观察自己的当下，请大家一定要这样做。即使你是一个15岁的女孩，希望找到一个很好的了解你的伴侣，当你这样想的时候，你也应该这样做。
Anyway, I was saying this family tension, family stress is definitely very, very prevailing and one of the domineering sort of pain and anxiety and suffering in very, very developed countries.
总而言之，这种家庭的张力跟压力是非常明显的，也是很多开发国家的现象，产生很多痛苦、很多焦虑的这种状况。
But even in a society that cherishes filial piety,
即使在一个崇尚孝顺的这种社会里面
now because you have a new conditioning, the condition of cherishing the individualism, creativity, And because of that, probably the challenge of tension between children and parents seems to be becoming even more so. Because, I think I've noticed this with my Chinese friends, with the children and the parents. There's almost like there's a duty to love. But then one part of your conditioning is, and also the reality is, parents also neglect the children, and all this is really disturbing the so-called normalcy.
而且说，即使这个在孝顺、崇尚孝顺的社会，由于我们现在也有一些新的制约，比如说像崇尚这个个人主义啊，或者是这个歌颂这种创造性啊，所以对于家庭的这种张力跟挑战也开始发生了。所以像小孩跟父母之间的关系，也就跟以前不一样。那仁波切是从很多他认识的华人的这个朋友的家庭可以看得出来，好像在这个一方面呢，这个父母会有一种需要去爱小孩的这种责任。那可是事实上呢，又另外一方面呢，是父母亲又忽略了小孩，所以这些干扰性的这种状态，就会影响到所谓的正常。
Okay, so I was talking about normalcy using the context of regular and common.
那仁波切在谈这个正常化，现在在谈的是用这个规矩，就是会重复出现的这种规矩，或者是regularity and
Common,
还有
commonly accepted.
共同接受的一种共识。
But let's go much more deeper.
那我们再更深入一点。
Especially in Buddhism, if Buddhists talk about normalcy, we are not only talking about something that is regular or commonly accepted.
在佛教里面呢，我们谈正常的，就不只是在谈这个规矩或者是共同的这种共识。
We are then talking the normalcy in the context of natural and sane.
我们在谈的方向呢，是一种自然跟 sane， 就是正常。事实上，翻译成正常。
Now this is a very big subject, isn't it?
那这是一个很大的题目了。
But first, let's go back to the 10 seconds one again.
那可是首先还是让我们先回到那个10秒钟的这件事情。
Okay, sane. What do we mean by sane?
那 sane 这个正常这个字，我们是什么意思呢？
We can have many hours of conversation about that.
我们可以谈论很多钟头。
Theory of that.
这个的理论，我们可以谈很久。
I told you, the Indians and the Chinese, they have really dedicated so much pages and times and energy writing about this.
那就像仁波切昨天讲的，印度人跟中国人就写过很多东西来谈这件事情。
But I really want to do something. I'm keep on coming back to this, something that is so practical.
可是仁波切一再的回来，这件事，这个一个非常实用的一个状态。
This 10 seconds thing.
这个10秒钟这件事情。
Because the thing is this, the moment I talk about sane and sanity and naturalness, I will be using a language.
那因为人们却一说这个正常或者是自然的话，他用的就是语言了。
Wow, the language is not normal.
语言是不正常的。
By the time you surrender to language, sanity is gone.
一旦你降服于语言呢，这个正常就不见了。
So among these questions, there was a question about what is mind. We will come back to this.
那在很多人问的问题里面，有人问说什么是心？那我们会回来这里。
It's almost like I'm telling you, I'm answering you to the question, what is mind? I'm saying you, why don't you find out?
人们却是说，就有点像他要回答你说什么是心这个问题的时候，人们就告诉你说，为什么你不去发现它呢？你去发现它看看吧。
Don't label it.
不要去标签它，不要给它注解。
Definitely do not judge.
可是绝对也不要批判。
Just watch.
只是看着它就好了。
Even this word watch, for now, for the sake of conversation between you and me, I'm using it. Actually, even the watch, the word is too corrupted.
那为了沟通的关系，我们现在说看着你的心，或者是观察。可是即使这个字呢，都已经有一点这个腐败了，被破坏了。
You see, in order to lit this, we need the light.
就像这个桌子要打亮了，我们需要那个灯。
But in order to lit that bulb, we don't need other light.
可是为了要打亮那个灯呢，我们不需要别的灯。
So in order to know something, like a pinnang, I need mind.
那比如说要知道一个事情，比如说槟榔，我们需要心来知道。
In order to know mind, actually you don't need another mind.
那可是为了要知道心呢，我们不需要另外一个心来知道。
Mind is what the Buddhists, okay, now again I'm coming up with the languages. Sorry, but we have no choice.
很抱歉，还是要用佛教的一些字眼，没有别的选择。
That's why there's amazing stories of the great bodhisattvas of the past and the ancient, like great masters keeping quiet.
也就是因为这样呢，有大菩萨，还有过往的这种大师，他们都无言。
I know. It's gone forever for you guys. For you guys, this image of mountain, like what is it, Huashan? And a small hut somewhere, and just alone. This only exists in the living room in the form of painting.
那人们就说知道这个对诸位已经早就不在了，远去了，不会出现了。可是就像这个国画里面，这个画个华山，然后中间有一个小茅屋，然后在里面很轻松的坐在里面，这个只剩下客厅里面的一幅画而已。
This kind of style of isolation was working 2005. This kind of style of isolation existed 1,000 years ago, 3,000, maybe 3,000.
这种独处的这种状态，这种生活方式，在2-3千年前是存在的。
Today, in year 2020, we need to have different kind of mountain and different kind of isolation.
那在这个2020这个时代呢，我们需要不一样的山，不一样的这种独处的状态。
So the best way is really for 10 seconds, do not label, do not judge, just be aware.
那最好的方法就是10秒钟，不要去贴标签，不要批判，就是觉知就好了。
And don't hope for something special.
然后不要期待有什么特别的状况发生，
That's the worst one.
这是最糟的。
Many, many times people say, there's nothing, I've been looking at it for all these years, there's nothing.
常常人们跟仁波切说，这里面什么都没有啊，我一直这样做了好多年。
You will go beyond that if you keep on doing this.
如果你一直这样做的话，你会超越它的。
You will return and say, wow, there's a lot of things.
你会回来，然后说哇，里面有很多东西。
So the best is without me corrupting this normalcy with the words and language.
所以最好的就是不要让仁波切用语言来破坏这个真正的这种正常。
Okay. But you are here to listen to me.
可是诸位来这里是来听仁波切讲，
And I guess, yeah, I will kind of, I feel I need to explain.
仁波切也觉得他需要解释，
And probably it can help you to, have some sort of appetite for this 10 seconds.
也许也可以帮忙大家增长对这个10秒钟的这个食欲。
Because I think okay, here I'm the merchant of the 10 second.
仁波切说他是卖这个10秒钟的商人，
Okay, so here I'm selling you the 10 second.
仁波切卖给大家这个10秒钟。
My job right now in the beginning is I want you to want the 10 second.
仁波切的工作第一件事情就是要大家想要那个10秒钟。
This is what I need to do.
仁波切要做的、需要做的就是这个。
So then I need to do this blah, 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 all that.
所以为了这个，仁波切就要滔滔不绝的讲。
Yes, please, especially the young people, please want this 10 seconds.
特别是年轻的朋友们，请一定要想要这个10秒钟。
And you can, you don't have to do this, like in a temple.
那你不需要在寺庙里面做这件事情。
I forgot the place now again. You can do right in front of Warner Village.
你可以在这个微秀影城前面做，没关系。
You can do in the busy market, whatever.
你可以在菜市场忙碌的菜市场里面做，任何地方都可以。
And you should sometimes you can make a big deal out of this.
那有时候你可以把它变成很大的一件事情。
Whatever helps you to appreciate this, long for this, whatever it takes you.
不管什么方法让你可以渴望，让你可以想要去做都好。
Sometimes it also helps by not making it into big deal. Just do it whenever you are.
可是有时候呢，也不要把它变成很重要的事情，反而也会有帮助的。就做了，不管你在哪里。
You could be social media addicted person.
你可能是一个非常沉迷于社交媒体的一个人。
And probably you are type of people who really sort of aware that it's not a good thing to be social, to be addicted to, social medias.
也许你也是那种人，说你事实上知道，好像沉迷于这个社交媒体是不太好的。这种人。
Because you realize that it really just wastes so much of your time.
因为你可能知道它浪费了你很多时间。
But addiction, habit addictions, you can't help it. You just do it.
可是这种沉迷啊、习惯啊，没办法，你就会去做。
I have realized this myself.
而且自己都了解到这一点。
I was telling recently to people, when I go to toilet, now the shit doesn't seem to come out if I don't have the phone with me.
我现在跟朋友说，现在他去上大号的时候，如果手上没有拿着手机，好像就大不出来。
It has become an algorithm now.
现在它变成一个计算式了。
This is what the addiction does.
这就是沉迷在里面会
So
造成的状况。
when you are engaged with your, socializing, you can do the 10 seconds.
所以当你在做你的这个所谓的社交的媒体的工作的时候，你也可以做这10秒钟的。
And I'm not even asking you to sort of, okay, you are typing, and then suddenly you remember what I just said to do the 10 seconds. I'm not saying to stop and 10 seconds. I'm not even saying this.
而且并不是在说这个，当你忙着在打手机的时候，然后想到人们现在讲的这些东西，然后你停下来，做这个10秒钟，人们也不是这样讲。
I'm saying that while you are chatting, just 10 seconds of, this is what's happening now.
就是当你在这个 chatting 在聊天的时候，你忽然想到说，哦，那你知道这个是目前正在发生的事情。
I think initially you will begin to laugh at yourself.
那一开始呢，你开始会对自己，会嘲笑自己。
Being able to laugh at yourself is a good thing.
能够嘲笑自己是一件好事。
You are not occupied, you are not engaged, you are not obsessed, lack of obsession, all this will begin to sort of come in.
那这就表示你没有被占据，你没有被整个填满，你没有沉入于其中，那这些慢慢就会出现。
Okay, now I keep on going to different places. Let's come back to the normal state. What is it when we talk about normal state? Sanity.
那我们再回来讲到说，什么是一种正常的状态？
So here, what kind of sanity are we talking about?
所以在这里，我们到底在讲什么样的正常性？
Actually, it is not a mystery.
事实上，它不是一个神秘的东西，
It's not a myth at all.
也不是一个神话。
It is so blatantly here and now.
它非常明显的就在此时此刻，
You are living with it.
此时此地，你跟它就活在一起，可以这样讲。
You are always with it, actually, but you are just not taking advantage of it.
你一直跟它在一起，只是你没有利用它而已。
Yeah, unless you are table, then we have no conversation.
除非你是桌子，那当然我们就不会有对话。
You have a feeling.
你有感觉。
You remember, you are the person who wishes to have this and that. You have insecurity.
你是一个人，你希望拥有这个，拥有那个，你有这种不安全感。
So which means that you have something called mind.
那就代表你有一个叫做心的这个东西。
Okay, so now, and this mind projects everything.
那这个心呢，投射一切的东西出来。
It is this mind that projects all the phenomena surrounding us, beyond us.
是这个心呢，投射的所有我们周遭的现象，还有超越我们周遭的各种现象。
It's a bit like the projector. If the projector is smashed, instantly 100,000 projection switched off.
Switch off.
Disappears, right?
那就好像这个投影机一样，如果这个投影机被打碎了，那刹那之间呢，所有这个各种各样的这个影像都被关掉了。
So there's the projector, the mind.
所以有一个投影机，就是心。
Okay, now I'm beginning to talk about the theory.
那么现在开始讲这个理论。
And everything what I say here, even though I may be putting the order in a different way and also sometimes use a different jargon or different idiom, it's all classic Buddhist teachings. Nothing I have invented.
那在这里，虽然而且可能顺序上不完全一样，或者是用的不一样的这个名词，或者是这种这个词句，可是他所有讲的都是传统的佛教上在讲的，没有什么他自己发明的。
Okay, so you have the projector, the mind, and the projection, the whole phenomena.
所以你有这个投影机这个心，还有你所投影出来的东西，就是现象。
Sorry, I need to say this, even though it's very intellectual, just this bit. For Buddhism, many times the projector and the projection are the same thing.
而且说很抱歉，他需要讲一点点这个理论上的东西。事实上，从佛教的观点，这个投影机跟这个投出来的影像，常常是同一个东西。
Or if to make it more comprehensible, they are one but a different aspect.
或者是可以更懂一点的说法，就是说他们是同一，可是是不一样的面相。
So this is why in Buddhism they never believe an independent object from subject.
所以也是这个原因呢，所以佛教不相信有一个独立于主体之外的客体。
Okay, I'm not going to go there, too academic, too intellectual.
那这个太学术了，太知识的讨论，所以而且不往这边讲。
For now, let us talk a little bit about the projection, the phenomena.
那我们现在来谈一下这个投影，就是这个现象。
So this is what I have been doing the past few months. I've been visiting the Buddha's teachings of 3 characters.
那这是仁波切过去几个月在做的事情，就是他重新在温习佛教讲的这个三个
characters. Yeah.
OK， 3个属性。
I know that in the past in Taiwan, I did talk quite extensively on 4 seal. They're very, very close.
过去在台湾的仁波切曾经讲了很多，很深入讲这个4法印。
Okay.
他们是很接近的，跟现在要谈的。
So, when you read the Buddhist sutras, classic Buddhist sutras.
当你读这个经典，佛教的经典的时候
And I'm sure it is in the Chinese, classic sutras.
相信在这个中文的佛经里面也有。
There's so many beautiful expressions.
里面有很多很美妙的这种描述。
Okay, one in Tibetan is Dempa Tong, which means seeing the truth.
这个刚刚仁波切讲的藏文，就是说是见到真理。
Usually in the sutras there's like the story, so and so came to the Buddha, or Buddha went to so and so's house. He had the lunch, and then Buddha gave him a call, teachings, and then this person saw the truth.
那这个佛经里面常常讲说，有个什么人来见佛，或者是佛去哪一个人的家里吃中饭，然后给他一个教法，等等的，以后这个人就见到真理了。
It's a very, very, very important expression, actually. These are the expressions that's not emphasized enough.
那这是一个非常重要的一种说法，这个表达甚至是不够被重视的一种说法。
Because it's really, this is why I was saying yesterday that only much later, so strangely, people put Buddhism into the category of religion. It's just so unfortunate.
所以昨天仁波切才在讲说，这个很奇怪的是，在后来人们把这个佛教把它归类成一个宗教，这是一个很不幸的事情。
So the words like enlightenment is actually not so good. Not so good.
那所以这个英文的这个 enlightenment，中文当然说叫做证悟了哈，是这仁波切在讲的时候，英文是一个很不好的一个字眼。
I think it's words like enlightenment that really made Buddhism look like a religion.
那这个 enlightenment 这个字呢，真的会让佛教看起来就是一个宗教。
If you are an astrophysicist, you suddenly discover another planet. Dempa Tong saw another truth, a layer of truth.
如果你是一个天文学家，然后你发现了一个新的星球，那就是看到真理，就是看到一个真的东西。
Or you are a scientist who sees the law of gravity. That is the Dempa Tong, seeing the truth.
或者是一个科学家发现了这个万有引力，这个就是这个见到真理。
There's another expression I have to tell you, Chuenamla Migdulme, which means there is no. Dul is sometimes dust or veil or obstruction. There is no more dust or obstructions or a veil between you and the phenomena. What a beautiful expression.
那另外还有一种表达的这种词汇是说，刚刚我们就讲那个藏文，是说在你跟这个现象之间，不再有任何尘埃或者是蒙蔽或者是一种阻碍，这是非常美妙的一种叙述。
Seeing the truth, basically.
基本上就是见到真理。
So, okay, the truth. Okay, so in the three characters are basically anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Anicca is the ever-changing uncertainty.
那三个属性呢，第一个就是 anicca， 就是一个一直在改变的，或者是这个不确定性。
And anatta, dukkha, which is, I think, Pali people translate as unsatisfactoriness.
那第二个 dukkha 就是巴利文的学者翻成不满足感、不满足的一种性质。dukkha 当然中文以前翻成苦。
And anatta, no self or selflessness.
那 anatta 就是无我。
Now, this, character, character, when we say, oh, his character is like this. You understand? We always talk about character as what he or she is, or what, character.
那这个属性或者是说特质，就是平常我们在讲某个人有什么样的特质。
A property that defines the individual, the nature. The character of fire is heat, I guess, something like that.
的特质就是一个定义某种东西的特性的一个描述，比如说像火的特质就是热。
It's kind.
那就是它的属性。
Okay, so what the Buddha is saying is that basically everything, all phenomena has these three characters.
基本上佛陀在说的就是说，一切所有的现象都有这三种属性。
So this 15-year-old girl longing for this soulmate.
所以这个15岁的小女孩在期待的一个灵魂伴侣。
If she has a little bit of understanding of anicca, anatta, and dukkha, the process of finding a boyfriend or a girlfriend or even maintaining the relationship is much more fun, much more, vast, much more, like I was saying yesterday, gliding.
那如果他对于这三个属性呢有一点点了解的话，那他在找这个男朋友的这个过程也好，他在维持这个关系上面呢，都会更好玩、更广大，而且像昨天仁波切讲的，就像在冲浪一样的滑在这个浪上。
I'm sure many of you are business people, so you must have been constantly updated with your management course.
诸位可能在座有很多这个从商的人，所以你一定常常学习最新的这种经营管理的这个知识。
Leadership training, you must go there, right?
领导统御的训练，你们一定会去参加这个。
What does leader need? One of the most important thing about leader is vision, isn't it?
一个领导者需要什么？最重要的，对领导者来讲，就是一种远见，是不是？
Now think about this. If a leader knows that everything has anicca, dukkha, and anatta, it's the biggest vision.
那你想想看，这样，如果一个领袖能够了解一切的东西都有这三个不确定性、不满足跟无我，那这是一个最大的一种远见。
This leader cannot be fooled.
这个领导者不会被骗。
You know, this just such a bird's eye view.
这是一个非常大的这种鸟瞰的这种视野。
And this is what I was talking yesterday also. You know, I was saying Siddhartha is right with everything. Parenting, leadership, business, politics, everything.
那这就是昨天仁波切在讲的，悉达多对一切他讲的都对，不管是绘画、这个领导统御、政治，一切都是这样。
Parenting, how much can it really help if we have these three characters? At least some sort of information in our head.
即使像父母带小孩，如果我们有某种这三个的这种知识的话，那就会有非常大的改变。
So we take a break, and when we come back, we will talk a little bit more about these three characters.
好，我们休息一下，然后回来再继续谈这三个特质。
And also, I will not, during the break, I will not waste this.
同时休息的时候，仁波切不会浪费他手上的槟榔。
These three characters, actually they're very simple.
这三种属性呢，事实上非常简单。
Probably that is the challenge, because it's too simple. We just take for granted.
也许他的挑战，就是因为它太简单了，所以我们就觉得是理所当然的。
We don't see it.
我们看不到它们。
And we miss it, basically. We keep on missing it.
基本上我们就没注意到它们，一直都没注意到它们。
But if you miss it, then if you miss or if you don't see these three characters, basically you are confused.
如果你忽略了它，没看到它，基本上你就是迷惑了。
You don't have the clue.
你就搞不清楚了。
You are tripping.
你就好像吃了迷幻药一样的，就进入一个那种状态。
You are making yourself vulnerable.
你让自己变得很脆弱。
Because you don't have the real picture. So of course, you are very vulnerable.
你没有看到真相，所以你就非常脆弱。
Anyway, anicca, impermanence, uncertainty.
总之呢，第一个 anicca 无常或者是不确定性。
There's nothing that is certain.
没有任何确定的事情。
You just have to get that. You really have to get that. You have to accept that.
你必须要了解这一点，你必须要接受这一点。
By the way, Buddha did not make this, made everything into impermanent.
要提一下说，佛陀并没有把所有的东西变得无常。
That's why it's truth.
因此，它叫做真相。
It's the truth of everything.
它是一切事情的真相。
But as simple as it is, not that easy to accept because of habit.
那虽然这么简单，可是没有那么容易被大家接受。这主要的原因也就是习惯。
Maybe certain gross impermanence we can accept.
也许某种粗的这种无常性呢，大家可以接受。
Certain gross impermanence we even encourage.
甚至我们还鼓励某种粗的这种无常。
But some of the impermanence are very, very subtle.
有些无常是非常微细的。
Anyway, without the impermanence, there is no function of the world.
那没有无常的话，这个世界上就没有任何功能了，不能作用。
It's a really it's a so ridiculous and complicated the way human beings think and function.
人类的这个作用呢是非常好笑而且复杂的。
We love updating.
我们喜欢去拿到最新的版本。
We love progressing.
我们喜欢进步。
We love getting trained. Improvement. All of this, if you can listen to the words like improvement, it's ringing the bell of impermanence.
我们又喜欢受训练，我们喜欢进步。可是如果你仔细看这个进步、改善、进步这个字的话，事实上它就是在讲无常。
So actually, this is something you guys need to know. Impermanence, when the Buddhists talk about impermanence, it's not at all talking about something negative, something pessimistic. It's just how it is, the truth.
所以诸位要注意，就是佛教徒在讲这个无常的时候，并不是在讲什么悲观的事情，事实上他就是在讲真相。
But I guess, you can say the truth is bitter, so therefore some people cannot accept it sometimes.
那当然，你可以说真相呢是有一点苦的，有一点苦味的，所以有一些人没办法接受，在某些时候。
We choose, we are so we conveniently choose to enjoy certain uncertainty, and we choose to brood about certain uncertainty.
我们去选择，以我们喜欢的，我们去选择，我们会欣赏某些这个不确定性，可是我们又排斥、讨厌很多某些另外的不确定性。
Anyway, it's very simple. Everything is uncertain.
就是非常简单，一切都是不确定性。
And it's very, very paradoxical, and what do they call it? Oxymoron also, like a pension plan.
那事实上就是非常矛盾的，或者是悖论的。比如说像这个退休的计划，
What a depressing thought.
这是一个非常令人沮丧的一种想法。
But it's something that we do. Pension plan. We should plan for pension, retirement plan.
退休的计划，这是我们在做的。
It's insurance.
比如说保险，
It indicates there is that element of what if something happens. So there's this element of accepting the uncertainty, but then the insurance, everything is insured, guaranteed. So this is this paradoxy, sort of.
所以这个我们谈到保险，就是保险它有一个含义，就是说万一什么事情发生的话怎么办？那可是另外一面呢，又说你因为你保险了，所以一切都照顾到了。所以这有一个这种矛盾、悖论的这种两面性在这里。
My friend, this teenager, probably will meet her, mate.
人们切刚刚谈的那个小女孩，她说她年轻的女孩，她的人们切人说她是她的朋友，也许会碰到她的灵魂伴侣。
And probably she will get really excited and reassured when this other person gives her a ring.
那她也许会感到碰到这个伴侣的时候，她会感到非常兴奋，而且当对方给她一个戒指的时候，她会非常的高兴。
But can you see the paradoxy?
你可以看到这个矛盾
The
吗？
ring to insure, but that also represents the what if. That's why you need a ring, kind of.
这个戒指呢，好像是为了要保证这个永远的爱情的，可是又好像又代表了是万一怎么样的话，这个是拿来保证的。
But again, I'm talking maybe too pessimistic. There's a lot of good news too. There's a lot of good news.
也许人们就谈得太悲观了，那也有很多好消息的。
We will get out of a lot of difficulties.
我们会从很多困难中解脱出来。
We will, and certain things, especially when we are in pain, we may feel if it is like forever, but that's never the case. So this is why, if you can think of anicca, it can really help for those who think that I'm doomed forever. Never, you are never doomed forever.
那尤其在某些痛苦的时候，如果我们在受到某种痛苦，那个痛苦绝对不会是永远都痛苦的。所以我们可以常常想到这个无常的话，就会有好处。那个有一些，尤其是对有一些人觉得说，他就永远逃不出去的这个痛苦了，绝对不会这样。没有任何人是永远在痛苦之中的。
By the way, these three characters, they are also interrelated.
那同时这三个特质呢，也都是互相有关系的。
Okay? The second one, dukkha, much more complex and much more vast, I think.
第二个这个 dukkha 就是苦，是更复杂、更
satisfaction. What will satisfy you?
就是不满足感。什么会满足我们？
One of the biggest elements that will satisfy you is something that you can 100% trust.
可以完全满足你的，就是可以100%你可以信任的东西。
But if everything is uncertain, how can you trust 100%?
可是如果一切事情都像第一点那个不确定的话，你怎么可能100%的信任呢？
And yes, basically what the Buddha is saying is that everything is not satisfying 100%.
基本上佛在说的就是说，一切都不是100%满足的。
Yeah, of course, like a headache or a stomach ache, you know that that's a pain, that's a suffering.
那当然，比如说像胃痛啊、头痛啊，这个我们都知道是某种受苦，某种苦。
But how about Haagen-Dazs ice cream?
那可是如果像这个哈根达斯的冰淇淋呢？
That's a much more complicated, unsatisfying phenomena.
那是一个更复杂的一种不满足感的现象。
Especially you have a sugar problem.
特别是如果你有血糖的问题的话。
What to make of that? Haagen-Dazs ice cream, so nice, so delicious, but the one scoop is one scoop full of cause of pain and suffering and the blood and the sugar and the, hypertension and all that.
那当然，这个哈根达斯的冰淇淋呢，就是很棒、很好吃、很美。可是同时呢，我们这个吃一口呢，就是会影响到我们的这个血糖啊、高血压等等的。
Going back to my friend, the teenage.
再回到刚刚那个10几岁的女孩。
I'm sure when she meet her, dream partner.
而且很确定，当她碰到她的梦中的情人的时候。
I hope she realized that this dream partner has lots of other elements.
而且希望她了解这位梦中的伴侣呢，还有很多其他的元素。
Such as this dream partner will talk, which is a bad news.
比如说，这个梦中的伴侣呢会讲话，这是一个不好的消息。
Even if this partner is like a dog, maybe a little bit better.
如果它是一只狗呢，可能好一点。
Because we don't really know what the dog is talking, right?
我们不知道狗在说什么，
We just interpret that the dog likes me.
我们只是把它诠释成狗喜欢我们。
But anyway, the partner will have a mouth, partner will have a mind, partner will have this element, this want, this needs. It's not going to be easy.
这个伴侣呢，会有个口，有个嘴巴，会讲话，有这种需要，有那种渴望，这不容易的。
But it's not all bad. I mean, there's also a lot of greatness. There's a lot of joy.
那当然不全部都是坏的，也有很多很好的，很多令人开心的事情。
Probably somebody who will carry the shopping bags.
也许有人可以帮你扛这个购物袋啊。
I don't know, all kinds of things. Someone to talk your rubbish things.
你可以跟他讲你的垃圾，所有的垃圾可以倒在他身上。
Someone to vent your feelings.
有一些那个你的想要发的这种情绪都可以发在他身上。
But basically, nothing is 100% satisfying.
基本上没有一件事情是100%可以让我们满足的。
Okay, the third one, anatta, probably the most sort of the deepest, the most also the most important character.
第三个呢，阿那塔是也许最深的，也是最重要的这个无我。
Nothing is how it appears.
没有一件事情是跟它显现的是一样的。
In other words, they have no solid, independent existence or self.
换句话说，也就是没有实质独立存在的自我。
They are just a temporary appearance.
他们都只是暂时的显现。
They are, yeah, it doesn't have, as you know, okay, sort of independent, solid existence.
没有所谓的独立的实质的存在。
So anyway, as I was saying, the three characters itself is fairly simple. I mean, in one way, it's not that complicated.
所以从某个角度来看，这三个属性呢，都事实上是非常简单的。
But here I want to spend some time about the notion of practice.
那么就在这里想要讲一下有关于这个修持的问题。
I want to, because this is just I have come, the reason why I want to spend some time talking about the practice itself is I'm kind of spotting or sensing some misunderstandings about the practice.
而且要讲一下修持的原因呢，是因为他感受到大家对于修持有一些误解。
It looks like the moment the word practice is mentioned, especially in the Buddhist world, it immediately refers to some sort of exertion, right? Exertion.
当这个修持这个字眼被提起来的时候，特别是在这个佛教里面呢，大家就自动的会想到某种用力的事情，要花力气的事情。
Okay, even in the level of sitting.
就即使只是在这个打坐上面。
Sitting is a technique.
打坐是一个技巧。
It is one of the thousands and millions of techniques.
它是千万种方法之中的一种。
The word meditation, which in English, which is not at all doing the justice to translate the word dhyan.
那人们就说英文的这个 meditation 呢，实在是不是一个非常好的这个翻译，从这个禅定来讲。
Word dhyan has the connotation of being with that.
那个禅或者禅定呢，它的意义有一个意义是跟那个东西在一起
，focusing on that，
专注在上面。
So we are talking about you walk around in the department store, in a shopping mall or whatever, on a food court or whatever.
比如说我们在谈你在百货公司或者是购物中心或者是小吃街里面走动。
Now, being with this three character while you are roaming around.
那你在走来走去的时候，你跟刚刚讲的这三个属性在一起
which is just reflecting on how things are impermanent.
这意思就是说，去反思这个一切现象怎么无常，
And not completely satisfying.
那不完全能让我们满足，
And they are never how they appear to be.
然后他们永远不是真正像他们显现出来的样子。
That is the quintessence of practice.
那这就是修持的精要了。
If you can really apply that spirit, that should be called practice.
如果你可以运用这样子的精神的话，那可以这就叫做修持。
There is no sort of a marathon of who is managing to sit on a cushion the most number of hours.
没有那种比赛说谁能够在打坐垫上坐最久的这种马拉松比赛。
There's no like a mileage plus you get by sitting,
也没有说你坐越久呢，你这个里程的累积奖励就更多。
Sitting hours and hours and hours, but no anicca, no dukkha, no anatta. You are just ironing the cushion.
那你一直坐在坐垫上坐很久，可能脑袋里面没有这个 anicca、dukkha 跟 anatta， 那你只是在烫平你的坐垫而已。
So, really, I think this need to be addressed. This really need to be addressed.
所以这个实在是需要被强调的。
Because once you get that, then I think you change your attitude. You change your attitude towards the world.
那当你能够了解这一点的话，你对于世界的观点就会改变。
The word vipassana vipassana means seeing extra or seeing the true color.
那当然，中文的这个“观”的这个梵文 vipassana 这个字的意义是说看到更多的，或者是说看到真相。
It's so unfortunate that vipassana always get intertwined with sitting, because this sitting thing is killing vipassana actually.
很不幸的，这个 vipassana 就是观这个修持呢，一直被跟这个打坐连在一起。事实上，这个坐会摧毁掉这个观的这个修持。
But of course, I'm not dismissing the sitting completely.
当然，仁波切也不是说排斥这个打坐，完全。
It is a ritual.
它是一个仪式。
And then more than anyone, the Chinese should know how ritual is important. Isn't Confucius really into ritual?
那这个别人不说，中国人应该对仪式最了解的。那个我们的孔老夫子不是最重视仪式吗？
Ritual keeps you in order.
因为仪式让我们有一个规矩。
Ritual sort of helps you to focus.
仪式帮助我们专注。
Ritual helps you not get distracted.
仪式让我们不要散乱。
So chances of you knowing the anicca and dukkha and anatta, sitting straight sometimes, chances of really knowing these three is probably higher than you like lazing around on a hammock, inside a hammock or something.
那当然，如果你做这个端坐打坐的姿势的这种，在这种机会底下来了解这个无常、苦跟无我，机会应该是大于你如果躺在这个吊床上的。
Okay, so by really developing this kind of habit, okay, in different, by basically developing the habit of seeing the three characters.
基本上我们要发展培养我们这种看见三个属性的这种习惯。
Then what it does, it changes the way you see the world.
它会改变我们看这个世界的方法。
Your point of view.
你的观点会改变。
And the way, and then therefore the way you relate to the world changes.
那也因此，你跟世界的这种关系也会改变。
Not at all. It doesn't mean that you may just go off in a mountain and become some sort of a renouncant as what we think, what we picture. We paint picture of renouncant.
那并不表示说你一定就会跑到深山里面，然后去做成像我们绘画上所看到的那种隐士。
Those who have read Vimalakirti Sutra, you know that. Vimalakirti, the billionaire bodhisattva, he was the real renouncant.
诸位如果读过《维摩诘经》的话，就知道维摩诘是一个出离的亿万富翁。
Yeah. So, your attitude changes, I guess. Your attitude, yeah.
所以你的态度会有所改变。
So your partner loses his or her temper.
所以你的伴侣呢发脾气了。
Because of anicca, dukkha, and anatta.
由于这三个属性。
The way you relate, way you play with that will be changed. Doesn't mean that you will keep quiet.
那在这种状况底下，如果你对这三种属性有理解的话，你处理这个事情，或者你跟他游戏的这种状态就会不一样，并不表示你会不讲话。
You may very well engage with a heated, fight.
你可能会跟他还是大大的吵架。
But basically, you are under control.
可基本上呢，你是在自我控制之中的。
You have not become insane.
你没有变成这个神志不清明。
You have never lost the throne of sanity.
你永远没有失去这个理智清明的这个宝座。
But keep on engaging with the world,
可是
just as how you used to.
可是就会持续的像你以前一样的持续跟这个世界持续进行你的生活，可以这样讲。
Yeah, so Buddha calls himself Tathagata.
佛陀称自己为如来。
When he says, like, I want a cup of tea.
当他说我想要一杯茶的时候，
He will say, Tathagata wants a cup of tea.
他会说如来想要一杯茶。
It's true. It's in the sutras.
事实上
Not tea, maybe some other things.
事实上是这样，可能不是茶，不过在佛经上是这么写的。
Yeah, he calls himself, Tathagata says this, Tathagata said that.
他说自己是这样说，如来说什么，如来说什么。
Tathagata must be translated very well in Chinese. How does it go?
Such come.
Yeah? That's it. That's it.
如来，
It's such a beautiful word.
这是非常美妙的一个词。
only these Indians can think of this kind of word.
只有这些印度人才想得出来这种名字。
Tathagata. It would basically, it can basically mean thus who came and gone both.
它可以被解释成说如来，而且如去也可以。
It's a fantastic word, so good.
太美妙的词眼。
It basically means the one who has arrived to the truth of what we've been discussing.
基本上他在说的是说，一个已经抵达真理的一个人，就是我们在谈的那个真理。
And having arrived, you interact with others.
然后抵达以后，你跟其他的人互相作用沟通。
And this is doable.
这是做得到的。
This is not far-fetched.
这不是一个遥不可及的事情。
It's really, really doable.
这真的做得到。
Achievable, I would say, some sort of a stability within few years.
而且说，也许几年的这种稳定的修持可以做得到。
And there's no reason why you should not do this. All the reasons why you should do
没有
this.
没有什么理由，诸位不应该这样做。有所有的理由，大家应该这样做。
Okay, maybe there were some questions, right? There were some
还
more
有一些问
questions.
题，也许我们现在开放一些问题。
Wasn't there some questions?
有没有？
仁波切，
Yes.
仁波切你好，请问我们要怎么修行？还有修行是什么意思？谢谢。
Can I ask what is practice and how should we practice?
What we have been just discussing.
我们刚刚不是讲了很久吗？
Knowing things are impermanent.
了解事情是无常的，
Do it sometimes sitting,
有时候坐着，
other times kneading a dough.
有时候捏那个面粉团的时候这样思维，
Or chewing a pinang.
或者是在嚼槟榔的时候这样想。
Okay?
还有呢？
Hello, Rinpoche. Sorry, I sit too long. My leg a little no feeling now.
Okay.
Rinpoche, I want to say thank you first. Although you do so many strange things, like eating binlang, but I really want to say that you gave me a lot of impact, because I think I'm such a bad boy for so far, but I know that a boy like me can learn Dharma, because you gave me a lot of, faith. So my question is like this. As Rinpoche mentioned, Rinpoche said, I also work in bank now. And you know that in bank, there are so many abnormal things during a bank, you know. We give a lot of insurance anyway. And I'm also a small leader in a bank now. And as Rinpoche mentioned, I have vision. I want to change the things like this. But you know, sometimes it will feel very frustrated. Yes, because the abnormal things to change is very difficult. So I want to ask Rinpoche that the normal guy like us, how should we face with some abnormal circumstance? What is maybe the good mindset in the things like this? Thank you, Rinpoche.
Okay.
简单的说，就是说他觉得，像他这样一个正常的人，怎么去应付在我们外面一大堆这种不正常的状态？应该用什么心态来对应这个？是不是这样？
Okay, so what I've been talking past 2 days is very basic, down to earth thing. Okay.
仁波切说，过去2天以来，他所在讲的是一个非常基本、非常实在的一些东西。
We can add few things to make it more potent.
那我们可以加几个东西呢，让它更为有力。
Depending for different people.
根据不一样的人来做。
So in your case, since you are in the bank,
在你的状况，你在银行工作，
I would suggest you to take Bodhisattva vow every morning.
我建议你每天早上呢，接受菩萨戒。
It takes only 1 minute, don't worry.
只要1分钟而已，不用担心。
Yeah, just take the Bodhisattva vow. Think that may all these people who come to your abnormal surrounding, may they all, one way or another, encounter the 3 characters.
那你就这样祈愿说，愿所有来到我身边的这些所有不正常的这些人呢，愿他们不论用什么方法，总是能够接触到这3个特质。
Every time they see you.
每次他们看到我的时候，都会 就会看到这3个特质。
So by doing this, you may not leave the spot, and your boss will be very happy because they will think you are working really hard. This part is a joke.
那也许你这样做以后，你的老板会很高兴，因为你虽然没有离开你的位置，可是他会觉得你做得很好。不过仁波切说后面这一段是开玩笑的。
Okay, what was the next question? Yeah.
下一个问题。
I'm going to put together a few questions that I've heard many people doing throughout my life, talking about being a human. Actually, a lot of people think that animals are better than human beings, other animal species, because animals don't hurt others from mere fun and don't harm the environment, whereas animals, they take care of others. And so many people actually turn to their pets and to YouTube videos for inspiration and emotional comfort. And they find it easier to be more affectionate towards their pets than towards people. Because their pets don't judge it, disappoint us, don't say anything that we don't like. So I want to ask, why is this so? And how can we make a sense of this? And how can we learn to have compassion for the human, circumstances, for all the negativity that we have, and develop compassion for the people who are difficult, and treat them with the same kindness and affection that we treat our perfect pets. Thank you.
他的问题是说，很多人可能觉得这个做人类比较好，不过也有一些人觉得做动物或者我们传统说畜生道比较好，因为他说动物不会为了好玩去伤害别人，也不会伤害这个环境，所以很多人都跟他们的这个宠物感觉到能够得到比较多的爱跟这种开心的感觉，对人总是有一些疏离，所以我们是这个观点上有没有什么可以让我们学习的更有慈悲、更有这个爱心的看法？
Okay, just very briefly, the second one first.
很简单的第2个问题先回答。
The most practical is aspiration.
最实际的方法呢，就是去发愿。
Practical and harmless and fruitful.
这个方法呢，很实际，而且没有 不会有害处，而且也会有结果。
Now, the Buddhist, for the first question, the Buddhist put human beings even higher when we talk about the ranking of, birth as a human, even higher than the God realm.
佛教徒是把这个人道呢，在这个排序上呢，是把它放得比天道还要高。
It has got nothing to do with, simply, fact that, as a being, as a sentient being, no hierarchy.
这个不是跟所谓的这个有情众生有关系，有情众生没有分层次的，没有高低的。
And you are right. Many times animals are doing much, much, much more than us.
你讲的没错，有时候在很多状况底下，动物是比人类还好。
We need to pray that the bees will live long, right?
我们需要祈祷，让这个蜜蜂可以长寿。
Because without them, we'll be dead in 5 years or something.
好像是如果没有蜜蜂绝种的话，我们大概人也活不过5年。
But the Buddhist idea of human being as the highest is the ability to potential or the ability to understand the truth.
可是佛教把人道放在最高，是因为人道的能力去了解真相的这个能力是最大的。
Okay?
好，下一个。
Yeah. Who has the? Okay.
请问仁波切，佛教的价值观和教法对我们在人际间遇到的困难有什么帮助？谢谢。
Can I ask the values system and the practice of Buddhism, how can it help in our daily 人际间是什么意思？ How can it help in our daily lives, I guess? How can Buddhist value system and practice help our daily life?
I think we talked about this. It is really to have a bird's eye view.
我们好像有谈到这个，基本上就是让我们有一种广阔的这种鸟瞰的视野。
Daily life will be better functioned, less stressful if you have the whole picture.
那个日常的生活呢，会比较没有压力，比较有这种比较不是那么压力那么大。如果我们有一个广大的视野的话，
So if you have the right picture, then you are saved from the false hope, false fear.
如果你可以看到真相，你就会免于一些虚伪的期待跟恐惧。
Okay.
好。
Who has the? Okay.
请问仁波切，最近金刚城发生了很多引人争议的事件，请问仁波切觉得金刚城越来越腐败了吗？
仁波切 recently there are many controversial incidents in Vajrayana Buddhism. Do you think Vajrayana is getting more and more corrupted?
Vajrayana has always been corrupted.
金刚城一直都很腐败。
And I'm not even joking on this. I'm serious.
仁波切是很认真的讲这个，不是开玩笑。
In fact, much, much more.
事实上更腐败。
1,000 years ago, they never had social media, so who knows what was going on? Now we know everything, right?
1000年前呢，没有社交媒体，所以我们都不知道到底发生了什么事情。现在我们所有事情都知道了。
And Vajrayana has, is what do you call it? Has created controversies among the Buddhists.
那金刚乘呢，在佛教徒之中呢，也制造了很多争论。
Lot of the Sharvakayana people and the Mahayana people, they don't accept, they see Vajrayana as a disgrace of Buddhism. I mean, they don't even see it as a Buddhism.
那很多这个声闻乘的，还有大乘的佛教徒呢，认为金刚乘是一种甚至他们有些人不觉得他们是佛教徒，不觉得金刚乘是佛教徒，觉得他们是一个不好的东西。
And many times they are right.
常常
their reason is very right.
常常他们的理由是正确的。
And also, because first of all, Vajrayana is never ever supposed to be for all.
首先来说呢，基本上金刚乘本来就从来不是给所有的人的，
But
不适合所有的人的。
And also the study of the Tantrayana, people, when people come to Vajrayana, people always go to the method. They never really really study the theory of the Vajrayana.
那另外一个是说，很多人来学习密乘，那一来学密乘就直接去学那个方法，很少人真正去研究这些理论。
I will give you an example in this environment.
那么，在今天这种场合里面，给大家一个例子。
So let's say most of you are Chinese, right?
诸位大部分都华人嘛。
So if you have grown up being Buddhist, but reading something like Avatamsaka Sutra, the beginning chapters especially.
那如果你是从小就在一个佛教的环境长大，然后比如说你读那个《华严经》的前面的一些内容，
or the Amitabha Sutra,
或者是《阿弥陀佛经》，
you will have hard time accepting the Tantra.
你就会很难接受这个密续。
But if you have read a little bit of Vajracchedika Sutra,
可是如果你曾经读过一些《金刚经》，
then you will have a little bit of a room. Hey, the Tantric people are talking similar, you know.
那你可能会就说，这个密续的人在谈的好像有点类似。
Or if you read something like a Vimalakirti Sutra,
如果你读，比如说像《维摩诘经》，
then you will really have a much more, open. I think you will open much more to the tantric philosophy.
那你就会对于这个密续的哲学呢更开放。
So, if there is a little bit of a theoretical understanding, would have helped.
所以简单来讲，就是如果你对于这些理论有某种了解呢，那是会有帮助的。
But not many people have time for that.
可是不是有很多人有时间去理解这些？
So you go immediately to You are bombarded with, like a dark woman, skull garland.
很多人就直接接触到就是那个黑色的女子，然后戴着这个头骷髅项链什么这样子。
And she has an extra head, which is a pig.
然后她还有另外一个头是一个猪的头。
How can you accept that as Buddhism?
你怎么能接受这是佛教？
It's really like some shamanistic voodoo, like.
看起来好像是什么沙满教的巫毒的东西。
And I think what you are talking about is a recent sort of misbehaviors of people who are in my profession.
那你可能在谈的是仁波切说，在跟他同行的一些人的一些不好的行为。
Yes, that has been there always.
是的，这种一直都有的。
And I think, unfortunately, it will go on.
可是不幸的，好像这还会继续。
But I think people should also look. There were a lot of incredibly good ones also.
可是人们也要看到，也有非常多很好的这种人在里面。
But what to do? Human nature is we never really pay attention to the good ones. We always like the bad news.
那可是有什么办法呢？我们这人类的本性好像就最喜欢这个不好的消息，不会真的看好的东西。
The sort of the exposition of the wrongdoings of the Vajrayana Lamas, personally, I think in many ways is good.
仁波切个人觉得呢，在很多暴露出来这金刚乘上师的一些不好的行为呢，是一个好事情。
This is a very good way to protect the Tantrayana.
这是一个保护密乘的一个非常好的办法。
Because Tantrayana, Vajrayana is really, it is a gift. It's one of the most beautiful gifts. You can't lose that.
因为金刚乘、密乘是一个最大的礼物，我们不能失去它。
You know how many people talk about think out of box?
有多少人在谈所谓的跳出这个框框想事情？
Tantra goes even further.
密续讲的更多。
Think out of the box while you are inside the box.
你在框框里面呢，去想框框外面的事情。
But because of its nature, of its teachings, it can create a lot of misunderstanding.
可是因为它的教法的这种本质呢，是有可能造成很多误会。
Yes. Okay. Next question, please.
好，下一个问题。
仁波切你好，听说仁波切正在将佛陀的话语翻译成中文和英文，你觉得有没有可能用最准确的文字来翻译？谢谢。
I heard that Rinpoche is translating Buddha's words into Chinese and English. Is it at all possible to use the most precise language to translate?
Probably not.
可能没办法。
But, motivation is the most important, isn't it?
可是发心是最重要的，不是吗？
And we have the motivation to share the wisdom and the method of the Buddha as much as possible.
我们有这个发心，是希望把佛陀的教法呢，传播给更多的人，越多越好。 分享给更多人。
We try to have that motivation.
我们试图的有这样子的发心。
And we will try to have the humility to accept that our work is work in progress.
我们也有这种谦卑的心呢，就是觉得我们所做的东西都还只是进行中的工作。
Of course, translation is a very, very difficult job.
那当然，这个翻译是一个非常困难的工作。
I was talking to some of my Japanese friends. They said, Murakami that I read in English is really, really badly translated. That what they read in Japanese is far more superior. It made me depressed for a few months.
仁波切的日本朋友跟他说，仁波切所读的这个村上春树的英文翻译小说呢，实在是很差了。那比起真正的村上春树用日文写的是差很远了。这件事情让仁波切沮丧了好几个月。
And especially, Buddha's words are not like a Murakami these days bestseller.
佛陀的话语呢，当然更不是像现在的这种畅销的村上春树小说一样。
But Buddha said, even to possess a text, veneration to the text, even to throw a flower has so much merit. So there must be so much merit trying to translate it.
佛陀自己说，这个即使礼敬，就是持有一份经文，或者礼敬这个经文，或者是供这个经文一点花，都有极大的功德。所以仁波切说，那翻译一个佛经呢，也一定有很大的功德。
We have a shortage of translator in English, in Chinese.
我们翻译中文跟翻译英文的人不够多。
The monk, the pig's friend, what's his name? Xuanzang.
那个猪八戒的朋友叫什么名字？玄奘啊。
He walked how many months to India?
他走了多少个月跋涉到印度
Spent 16 years, 19 years or something.
花了16还是19年在印度。
Just imagine how the Chinese are so fussy with the food.
想想看，中国人对食物那么吹毛求疵的。
16 years he had to eat chapati.
他要吃这个印度那个 chapati 吃16年，想想看，多辛苦。
But wow, that guy did so much.
可是这家伙做了不少事情。
So, please, those who are here, we have a project on translating from Chinese to English, English to Chinese, Chinese to Tibetan, Tibetan to Chinese. Please, whichever you want to choose, please, bring back the spirit of people like Fashin and Xuanzang and all of that.
所以诸位在座的人，而且这边有这个计划，正在进行的计划，从英翻中，中翻英，英翻这个藏文，藏文翻中文的等等，不管是哪一种翻译，诸位有兴趣的，请一起加入来发扬这个法显跟玄奘的这种精神。
And by the way, even from the business point of view, I think it has a bright future.
即使从生意的角度来看，也有一个光明的前途。
Remember, we were talking about AI age.
记得我们在谈 AI 年代嘛，人工智能年代。
In about 30 years, a lot of us, our job will be done by AI, I think.
在差不多30年后，我们大部分的人的工作都会被 AI 取代了。
So we are getting closer and closer, becoming irrelevant.
所以我们越来越接近了无关紧要的一种状态。
Democracy, human rights, free speech, all this means nothing, nothing. when there is a AI.
民主啊、人权啊这些，基本上当有 AI 以后，就变成没有意义了。
So when that day happens, I think the teachings that are written in the sutra will become so much more relevant.
是当那天到达的时候，这个佛经上所教导的变成更有用了。
So I think your children, after 30, 40 years later, they will really appreciate that you have done this.
所以你的小孩经过3-4年以后，会很高兴你帮他们做了这件事情。
This is this lady who has been wanting to ask a question.
这位女士一直想问问题。
Yeah. Please, can you
给她一个麦克风好吗？
Thank you， 仁波切。我首先跟仁波切及在座的大家说声抱歉，因为我找不到其他的管道可以问仁波切，所以我选择这个公开的场合来问一个我自己私人的问题。
She doesn't have an opportunity, so she take this opportunity to ask a personal question.
Okay.
So he apologized to all the people here.
我的问题是，今年年初，然后我看完那个仁波切的新书《活着即迈向死亡》，然后后面有教那个教导制作那个极分莲花解脱咒轮，然后当下呢，我就没有第二个想法，我就马上进行制作，经过2个半月，终于完成了1000个咒轮。然后也请了那个巴丁堪博帮忙开光修法，但是接下来我不知道如何来运用这些咒轮，该怎么办？问完了，谢谢仁波切。
At the beginning of this year, she read your book, Living is Dying, and immediately after she read the book, she made, according to the book, the mantra chakra. She made 1,000 of them and then have some Kempo consecrated it. But she doesn't know how to use it now that she has this 1,000 chakras.
What to do with those 1,000?
What to do with those chakras.
Oh, you have done a good job.
你做了一件好事。
Give it to people who are already dead.
给一些已经死掉的人。
Or which is basically everyone.
基本上就每一个人了。
So, they can keep it so that, they can keep it with them.
他们可以放在身上。
And make sure that they can tell their friends or family members not to take away when they are being cremated or buried.
而且确定他们要告诉他们的亲友，如果哪一天他火化的话，不要把那个东西拿掉，要放在他身上。
Okay, I think I will stop here.
仁波切要今天讲到这儿。
As I said, it's very, very good to be in Taiwan again.
仁波切很高兴的又回到台湾来。
It's such a beautiful place.
是一个非常美好的地方。
So much warmth and so much gentleness.
大家都非常温暖，大家都非常这个平和。
I know this more than any one of you here, that how the Taiwanese are like that.
仁波切比大家都知道这台湾人的这个特性。
I have been going around, by myself, as a tourist.
仁波切曾经在台湾这个当成一个游客一样走来走去，到处都去过。
And the moment they realize I'm a foreigner, they're extra more warm and friendly.
当他们发现仁波切是外国人的时候，他们就更温暖的、更亲切。
If I'm wearing robes, taxi drivers don't even take my money.
如果仁波切穿着他的袍子的话呢，计程车司机都不收他的钱。
And the most surprising is, I wasn't even wearing a robe, but I went to shave my hair, and the lady didn't take money.
有一次仁波切并没有穿法袍，可是去剃头，那个女士也不肯收他的钱。
Please take care of yourself.
请大家照顾自己。
And many of you, you have taken refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha.
诸位在座很多人都皈依佛法僧
And
过，
absolutely you are protected.
那你绝对是已经被保护了，
You have nothing to worry.
你不用担心任何事情。
This year, this life, and next life, and during the birth.
此生不用担心，来世不用担心，在中阴身也不用担心。
But having said that, I think, washing hand and stuff like that, I think maybe is a good thing to do.
虽然说了这些，可是洗手啊等等这些，也许还是有帮助的。
And also, the little merit that we have by discussing these past 2 days, we dedicate this merit to the sanity of the world.
那我们借由这个机会，有这2天有机会来谈论，我们所谈的问题，也许有一点点的小的功德，我们把这个功德回向给，让这个世界更理智清明一点。Thank you very much.